in the heart of a bustling city in West Africa, where the streets are alive and the chatting of vendors and market women and market men are buying and selling. There was a hidden operations that few people knows about, a baby factory. A baby factory run by a woman called Zainab. For 20 years, Zainab has been able to manage her business secretly. No one knows the secret of her business, of how she got her money. Exploiting the vulnerability of young girls and boys in a cruel trade. Zainab's story began decades ago in a small village where she grew up amidst poverty and hardship. Her early life was marked by struggles and she was determined to change her fate. When she moved to the city as a young woman, she saw an opportunity. She discovered that there was a market for babies. To start selling babies to make money, Mr. Ogogwa introduced her to the business of selling babies. Babies could be sold to couples and to some other people that are interested in having them. Couples who are desperate to have children pays a lot of money to have them. Zainab was desperate to have money, so she decided to have a baby factory of her own. She began with a small act of deception, promising jobs, food, and shelter to vulnerable youths. Zainab, Zainab promises of better life to children lure them onto her. She could offer young girls and boys money and food, convincing them to stay with her for a short while. But once they arrived, they found themselves trapped in a grim reality. Zainab's baby factory was nothing like a traditional one. It was a large building on the outskirts of the city with windows. The building was divided into small rooms, each filled with the cries of babies and the soft whispering of their young mothers. Inside, the conditions were harsh. The young mothers were given minimum care and their needs were often ignored. They were told that they were there for a temporary stay and promised to return to their family once they had their babies. The reality was far different. After the birth, the babies were taken away and the mothers were neither dismissed or in some cases sent away with nothing. Bola was the oldest among the girls. She's only 22 years and she has gotten 8 babies. All the babies were sold out. Days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months in the baby factory. These 6 girls, Bola, Tayo, Chiamaka, Fatima, Ngozi, and Zainab, grew closer like sisters. They took care of each other, sharing their small portion of food and whispering stories of their families. Bola was the oldest among them. Even though she was only 12 years old, she always tried to comfort the others, especially when they were scared of what is happening around them and crying bitterly that they want to go home. Bola has been there for the longest and she knew the pain of losing so many babies. But she told herself she must be strong for the other girls so they will not lose hope. Tayo missed her family terribly. She often thought about her stepmom promising her of a job and wondering if she knew the truth. Tayo believed that if she could find a way to send a message, someone could come looking for her. She began to notice everything around her, the guide, the door, and the way the sun moved through the window. She watched carefully, hoping to find a way to escape. Chiamaka would quietly pray each night, asking for a miracle. She was scared, but also determined. She remembered her parents' faces and the smell of her mother's cooking. Chiamaka believes that somehow someone would come and find them. She began to teach the other girls some songs and prayers in hymns. Fatima had always been brave. She knew how to climb trees back in her village and loved to run in the forest. Here in the baby factory, there were no trees, no fields, just walls and locked doors. But she watched closely and realized that one of the guide would not but she watched closely and realized that one of the guide was not even careful. She noticed that every night he could fall asleep while on duty. She shared this with the other girls, and they all began to watch the guide closely, waiting for their chance to escape the baby factory. Ngozi was quiet but clever. She paid attention to every little things, like where the guide kept their keys or when the door were open or closed. She make a small plan in her mind, thinking of every details, waiting for the night moment to share her ideas with the other girls on how to escape from the baby factory. Zainab had the toughest heart. She missed her family dearly, especially her younger brother, whom she used to take care of. She could often cry at night, but she was also strong in her own way. She started thinking and talking to others about escape, about running away together. Her dreams of freedom gave them all hope. Zainab was 17 years and she has gotten 10 babies in the baby factory with different kind of men. It is so painful, Zainab said to the other girls. It is so painful having a baby at a tender age and you will not be able to see the baby for the rest of your life. It is so painful. The 6 girls plan to escape even if they are not going to take any of their babies. And where are they going to see the babies? They have been sold out. They are determined. They are so determined to set Madam Zainab ablaze, to leak her secret to the whole world, to tell everyone that cares to listen of how she got her money and what she is doing with girls and boys. They are waiting for that day to share their stories of what Madam Zainab has done to them from their tender age up to the present day, the way they were manipulated to get pregnant and the baby being sold out. So they hold the plan. So they plan each and every day, each and every night, looking for ways to escape. One rainy night, the girls noticed that the sleeping guide has dozed off again. Fatima called the other girls. He woke them up. Now it is our chance to get out of this baby factory. Ngozi, the quickest among them, tiptoes towards the guide and quickly took the keys without making a sound. They quickly unlocked the door, their hearts beating fast. Bola took the lead. They reached the main door and Tayo quickly tried the keys. He tried severally, but finally the door opened and they saw the rain pouring outside. It was dark and cold, but it was their freedom day. Holding the hands of the youngest girls, they moved quickly down the dark hallways, hearing only the sound of their breathing and the rain outside. They ran as fast as their leg could carry them out into the rain and away from the factory. They did not stop running, nor even when they heard shouting behind them. They kept going until they could no longer hear the voices, until they were far away from the baby factory. After hours of running, they reached a small village. An old woman saw them and immediately knew something was wrong. She took them into her house, gave them dry clothes, and listened to their stories. The old woman promised to help them, and she did. Bola, the eldest among the girls and the leader of the girls, was so much afraid. She told the elderly woman that helped them that Zainab has a strong network of buyers, including wealthy couples and unscrupulous individuals who were willing to pay handsomely for any children. That Zainab operates in secrecy, using false documents and hidden channel of facilities to facilitate its transactions. Her operations was smooth and efficient, driven by a callous determination to profit from the mysteries of others. The following morning, the old woman took them to the elders in order for them to have enough evidence. All the girls told their story how they got into the baby factory. Amina was one of them that escaped from the baby factory. She was 18 years old from a rural village, desperate to escape her harsh reality and eager to support her family. Amina was drawn to the city by the promise of employment and a better life. Her encounter with Zainab seems like a stroke of luck, but she was brought to the factory. At first, Amina was hopeful, believing that the hardship would be temporal, but as the days turned into weeks and she learned about the true nature of her situation, her hope turned into desperate. Her hope turned into sadness. She was forced to endure the ordeal of childbirth She was forced to endure the pain of childbearing, only to have her baby taken away almost immediately. Amina's heart was broken, and she was left with nothing but memories of her lost children. Their stories and reports led to an investigation, and soon the shadows surrounding Zainab factory began to lift. Authorities, armed with evidence and testimony, moved swiftly to shut down the operations of the baby factory. One of the policewomen was so surprised. He said, "How can you have a baby factory? Are you not a mother? How can you be selling people's children, people's newborn baby? You're a callous woman," she told Zainab. So they arrested Zainab along with her workers. The police raided everywhere, packed all the small babies and the new mothers. The young mothers and their babies were rescued and given the care and support they needed. Amina among them, with many others, were provided with counseling and rehabilitation, and efforts were made to reunite them with their families where possible. Zainab faced a long trial and her actions were condemned by the police. As Zainab was sentenced to prison, the city began to heal from the wounds inflicted by her cruelty. The stories of the young mothers and their babies became a testament to the resilience of the woman's spirit and the importance of standing up against injustice.